Picture two people. Both of them become millionaires on the exact same day. 10 years later, one is worth over $50 million. The other one is completely broke. Same starting line, same amount of money, same opportunity. So what actually happened? Most people blame bad investments, a market crash, bad luck. But none of those are the real answer. The real answer is a lot more dangerous because it doesn't start in your bank account. It starts in your mind. Here's a truth almost nobody talks about. Money doesn't change people. It just reveals the habits they already had. And that's exactly why some people stay wealthy for the rest of their lives, while others slowly lose everything without even realizing it's happening. Stick around till the end, because by the time most people notice the day they started becoming poor again, it's already years too late. Meet Daniel. At 40, he sold the company he'd spent 15 years building. After taxes, $4 million landed in his account. For the first time in his life, money didn't feel like something he had to protect. It felt like something he could finally enjoy. So he rewarded himself. A beautiful new house, a luxury SUV, first-class flights, 5-star vacations. None of it felt irresponsible. He paid cash. He wasn't borrowing. He wasn't drowning in debt. Honestly, everyone around him said the same thing. You've earned it. And maybe they were right. After 15 years of sacrifice, those purchases didn't feel reckless. They felt deserved. That's exactly what made them so dangerous. Because the biggest financial mistakes rarely feel like mistakes. They usually feel like rewards. 2 years went by. Life looked perfect. Then one afternoon, Daniel had lunch with the investor who'd mentored him since the very beginning. After the congratulations, after the old stories, after the laughter, the mentor leaned forward and asked one simple question. At first, Daniel just smiled and answered. "Tell me, Daniel, are you actually richer today than the day you got rich?" The smile disappeared, because for the first time, Daniel realized he genuinely didn't know the answer, and that one question would quietly change everything he thought he understood about wealth. That question followed him home. He couldn't stop thinking about it. So that night, for the first time in months, he opened his financial statements. Not to see how much money he had, but to actually answer his mentor's question. Am I really richer? The answer shocked him. His net worth had barely grown, but something else had, his lifestyle. Without even realizing it, every bit of freedom he'd earned had quietly turned into a permanent expense. The bigger house meant higher taxes, more maintenance, more furniture to fill it. The luxury SUV meant expensive insurance, premium servicing, constant upgrades. None of those decisions looked dangerous in the moment. That's exactly why they were. Then Daniel remembered something his mentor had told him years earlier, a sentence he'd basically ignored at the time. The day your success starts paying for your ego instead of your future, that's the day you quietly start becoming poor again. That line hit harder than any market crash ever could, because Daniel finally understood. He hadn't lost his money. He'd lost the habits that created it in the first place. Back when he was building his business, every dollar had a mission. Every expense had to earn its place. Every investment moved him one step closer to freedom. But once he became rich, the question in his head quietly shifted. He stopped asking, "Will this make me wealthier?" and started asking, "Can I afford it?" Those two questions sound almost identical, but they build completely different lives. One keeps growing your future, the other quietly spends it. From that day on, Daniel made himself one promise. He would never buy something just because he could afford it. Instead, before every major purchase, he'd ask himself one question. Will this make my future richer, or will it just make my present look richer? That single habit changed everything. He stopped chasing status. and started protecting freedom. Because he'd finally figured out something most people never do. Wealth was never the money sitting in his bank account. Wealth was the machine quietly creating more money, long after he'd stopped actively working for it. The house wasn't the wealth, the car wasn't the wealth, the expensive watch wasn't the wealth. Those were just rewards. The real wealth was the system quietly paying for all of them in the background. And that's exactly why the people who actually stay rich rarely look obsessed with looking rich. They've already figured out something most people spend their whole lives chasing. Status gets you attention. Assets buy you freedom. And freedom will always be worth more. Close. So here's the question I want you to actually sit with. If everything you owned disappeared tomorrow, would your habits be enough to build your wealth right back up again? Because money doesn't protect wealth. Your habits do. And the day your habits become stronger than your lifestyle is the day your wealth becomes almost impossible to destroy. If this changed the way you think about money, tell me in the comments. What's one habit that actually builds wealth instead of just making you look wealthy? And if you're serious about building wealth that lasts, not just wealth that impresses people, go ahead and subscribe to Arhan Usman. No hype, no fake gurus, just timeless financial truths, one video at a time.